Welcome back to Tech Forge, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name's Nath. Today we're going to have a look at some more 120mm fans that we'll be including in the Great Fan Roundup coming up. Now, what have we got today? Well, it's a triple pack and it's made by DeepCool. They are the RF120s. They're RGB capable fan, not addressable, just standard RGB. For all of us out there that run Asus hardware, Aura Sync compatible. The packaging is quite sturdy. It's not too bad. It's got all the information we need on the back. It's nothing overly overdone. You know how I feel about that. Not bad. Let's open it up and have a look what's in this bad boy. Just flap after flap after flap. Much more flapping and it'll fly away. Got a little box on top, and that of course is stuck together with something sticky. Trying to cut myself. You don't want that, or do you? Do you? Wow, there's a lot of cables in here. Let's have a look. That looks like a splitter of some description. And that is your, that's your SATA powered controller for the RGB on the fans. SATA, thank you. So sick of Molex. Of course, I've got fan screws. So many of them in my cupboard right now. That's the RGB extension. They look very similar. The way you tell the difference is that little tag there has the RGB order of which ones they are to plug in. So don't get confused. And it actually comes with a 3-fan hub. How about that? So you can run all 3 fans off the one motherboard header. DeepCool. Good guy, DeepCool. Now we haven't even got to the fans yet. Let's get them out. More cardboard. Oh, here we go. Have paperwork that we won't read until we can't figure it out and scratching our heads and yelling and screaming. That over there. Here we go. Fans. Oh, so many. So many free fans. Look at that. Let's get some close-ups of these, yeah? Probably be easier. There you have a closer view of today's subject. They've got some semi-translucent fan blades, so some of that RGB light spills through, but gets diffused so it's not so hot on the eye. Rubber mounting points and a bunch of cabling. One each for the fan PWM, and one of course for the RGB itself. So this may lead to a mess of cabling a little bit, but you know, it's easily taken care of. And for colours we have this red, which may appear a little orange on camera. That orange glow in the centre is in fact quite red in reality, so bear that in mind. So we've got the red, which then follows with a pulsing, which is speed controllable as well. Then we have a green, which is very washed out on camera, brilliant. Flashing, we have blue. So the colours towards the edges of the fan blades are a lot more accurate what you're seeing than what I'm seeing. Pulsing, orange or yellow, sort of in between. Pulsing, purple, pulsing, light blue pulsing, white pulsing, and a colour cycle, a pulsing colour cycle, and a sort of jump fade colour cycle. And of course you can control the speed of what this all takes place at, which goes quite quickly if you wanted to. A little bit of a disco sensation. And we're back to the red at the start. Let's talk numbers for a minute here. The RF120 Triple Ultra Deliciousness Pack comes in at $49 dues, which is surprising considering RGB just about doubles what fan manufacturers would otherwise charge for a product. Each one of these rotational airflow devices will deliver up to 56.5 CFM of air supply that isn't all out of love, but no indication on what sort of static pressure we can expect.
RPM speeds are between 500 to 1500 RPM with a 10% variance, and this equates to a much more peaceful 27 dBA claimed noise level at full speed. The RGB integration is subtle without being ice blue overkill, coming through the opaque blade just nicely, and let's not forget the blade ribs for extra pleasure. Couple all this with a decent looking RGB integration with Asus Aura compatibility, the RF120 starts to look a little bit like a price to performance to aesthetic champion. The price and aesthetic are knowns in this case. All that's left to do is see if they can punch with the Cryorig and Corsair heavyweights in our upcoming fan test roundup. Time will tell there, I guess.
But what about the build quality on these fans? They're a full frame, they're reinforced down the side, so they should be fairly sturdy. I do like these full frame designs. I much prefer them than these current round ones that are all flexy and crappy and weak. I'm having a hard time getting any flex in that frame. That is solid. Oh yeah, quite solid. Again, look, this guy, cheap, nasty, plastic. Not good. I can actually bend that. Just that little bit. As we found out in the Cryorig fan review, the stock fan weighs in at 101 grams. I cannot convert that to pounds or ounces for those of you out there that follow those outdated metrics. And the DeepCool RF120s, they weigh in at a whopping 145 grams. Now, so a couple of those extra grams could be attributed to the extra cord, this one here, that we get included because of the RGB implementation.
All in all, some pretty good stuff.
So there we have it, the DeepCool RF120 triple pack of RGB fan goodness. For those out there who are looking to RGB up their rig on a budget, aren't willing to pay anywhere 100 to 150 Australian dollars for some of the more expensive brands, and I think the DeepCool RF120s are a decent option. The RGB experience is roughly on par with the Corsair SP120s. Whether or not they perform the same, well, that's another question. To see how well they do perform, I'll be including these in an upcoming video, which is a 120mm fan roundup and test. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Subscribe if you're not already, and don't forget to make sure that little bell icon's being clicked so you know when the videos are up. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to leave, you know where to do it down below. We love having a chat with everyone, so come and say good day. Anyway, that's enough out of me for now. I've got to go do this fan test comparison. I can't sit around all day. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one. See you next time.